Hey, I'm Amy Campbell here with Jason Caldwell of AUTigers.com in the Georgia Dome, getting ready for a very exciting SEC title matchup tomorrow between Auburn and Mizzou. Now, Jason, when we started this season, I don't know if anyone could have predicted that these two teams would have been here, probably the most underrated in the league. What do you think it took for both of them to make it to this place?
I think first with Missouri, you look at a team that I think people thought was going to be able to make a run last year, and they had a rash of injuries, and I think it really kept them from kind of fulfilling their I guess prophecy, whatever. You know, they're 5-17, but it broke a string of 9 straight bowl games, so they've been a team that have been really consistent. So I think for them it was just a matter of staying healthy. You got a veteran quarterback in James Franklin, so kind of all those pieces fit together. For Auburn, a much different story. I think you look at, first of all, the right place, the right time, the right fit. Gus Malzahn coming back, bringing his staff in that these guys are familiar with. They know Gus Malzahn, they knew his system, knew what to expect from him. But I think for him also, he didn't play for 2014, 2015 and beyond. He played for this season. I think for those players, it was a vote of confidence for them even before the year ever started. I think they carried over into the season, and then obviously you throw Nick Marshall into the mix, and you have a winning equation.
A lot of interesting matchups in this game, but let's talk about the Auburn run game versus this Mizzou run defense that's been pretty solid this year. What do the Tigers need to do?
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's simple, but it's true. Just keep on keeping on. That's what gotten him to this point. You know, this is an Auburn running team that has continued to play physical, get after guys at every chance they could. And you look and 3 weeks ago you face a Georgia team that was allowing just over 100 yards a game on the ground, and Auburn ran the football. Last week Alabama was averaging 91 yards a game on the ground. Auburn ran the football against them too. So this is an Auburn team that's they're gonna run the football. They're gonna try to establish that. And if Missouri, if they put 8 or 9 guys in the box, then you have to hit some things in the passing game. I think Auburn expects to be able to have to throw the ball. Nick Marshall and some of those guys, and Missouri's secondary is 18 interceptions, so they've done a good job of taking the ball away, but they've given up some plays in the process as well. So I think for Auburn, you try to continue to run the football against I think a Missouri front that is not as big and physical as Alabama, but they're probably more aggressive and probably a little bit quicker off the ball. So I think that's the challenge for this Auburn offense.
And we hear all about we've seen all season long, these Missouri receivers that are very big, very tall. What does the Auburn secondary need to do to match up and defeat them when those receivers are so much bigger and taller?
I think the first thing is you got to be physical, even though they're going to outweigh you, they outsize you. You got to stay out there and be physical with guys. So Chris Davis, Jonathan Mincy, those guys in the secondary, they've got to play physical. But I think the first thing starts with the Auburn front four. They've got to be able to get pressure without having to blitz. So you look at D. Ford, Carl Lawson, Gabe Wright, those guys. I mean, they've got to be able to get consistent pressure. And I think that the biggest thing is that Auburn has to slow down Missouri's running game. Henry Josie, those guys can they can run the ball pretty well too. So I think you've got to force them into third and long situations. Then you can kind of tee off on the pass rush a little bit. But if you let Missouri establish what they want to do and can call any play at any time, then it'll be a pretty long game.
Well, if we see anything like we've seen from either of these two teams this season, we are in for a very exciting matchup here tomorrow, and we'll have you covered for all of it. So keep it locked right here at scout.com and AUTigers.com for all your coverage. For Jason Caldwell, I'm Amy Campbell.